The twin moons of Kepler 442b cast long shadows across the human settlement as Captain Mira Holt completed her evening rounds. The prefabricated structures hummed with the quiet efficiency of a well-maintained frontier outpost, home to 47 souls who had volunteered to establish humanity's first permanent colony in the outer reaches. Mira paused at the perimeter, her breath misting in the cool night air, and smiled as a familiar weight pressed against her leg. "Easy. Nox," she murmured, running her fingers through the creature's obsidian fur. "All quiet tonight." To the uninitiated, Nox appeared to be nothing more than an oversized canine, a companion animal that the eccentric humans insisted on bringing to the furthest corners of space. The Zelthuran raiders who had been observing the settlement from the ridgeline for the past 3 days had made precisely that assumption. It would be their last mistake. Nox's ears swiveled toward the darkness beyond the fence line. His lips curled back from teeth that gleamed like polished daggers in the moonlight. Mira's hand instinctively moved to her sidearm. "What is it, boy?" The attack came with brutal efficiency. 12 Zelthuran warriors, each standing nearly 8 feet tall with exoskeletons harder than steel, breached the perimeter simultaneously. Their plasma cutters made short work of the fence. They had studied human settlements before and knew the patterns, the weaknesses. A small colony like this should fall in minutes. The alarm blared. Mira's voice cut through the chaos on the comm system. "All personnel, shelter in place. This is not a drill." The Zeltharans moved like shadows, their forearms wielding an array of weapons designed to incapacitate rather than kill. Humans, after all, were valuable on the slave markets of the outer systems. The raiders had done this hundreds of times before, hitting isolated colonies, taking what they wanted, vanishing into the void. But they had never encountered anything quite like Nox. The creature that had been lying peacefully at Mira's feet transformed. Genetic enhancements, carefully engineered by humanity's best xenobiologists, activated in response to threat stimuli. Nox's muscles rippled and expanded, his already impressive frame doubling in mass within seconds. Bioluminescent patterns flared across his body, bathing the compound in an eerie blue light. His eyes, once warm and brown, now glowed with a predatory intelligence that transcended mere animal instinct. The first Zelthuran to reach the command center never saw Nox coming. One moment the raider was raising his neural disruptor toward a fleeing colonist. The next he was airborne, 300 pounds of enhanced predator clamped onto his thorax. The exoskeleton that had turned aside bullets cracked like an eggshell under Nox's jaws. Mira didn't shelter. She couldn't. As commander, her place was in the fight. But as she emerged from the command center with her rifle, she realized with growing astonishment that she might not need it. Nox moved through the raiders like a force of nature. His enhanced musculature allowed him to leap impossible distances, his reinforced claws shredding through armor that should have been impenetrable. But it wasn't just his physical capabilities that made him devastating. It was the intelligence behind those glowing eyes, the tactical awareness that had been genetically encoded into his DNA. He separated the raiders, drove them into kill zones, used the terrain to his advantage. When 2 Zelthrans tried to flank him, Nox led them directly into the settlement's waste recycler, then activated the compactor with a precisely placed paw on the control panel. The Zelthuran commander, watching his squad being systematically dismantled, made a desperate decision. He raised his plasma cannon toward the residential block where the colonists were sheltering. His intent clear. If they couldn't take the humans, they would eliminate them. Nox's howl split the night, a sound that carried frequencies beyond human hearing, a battle cry that resonated in the primordial fear centers of every sapient brain within a kilometer. He launched himself across 40 meters of open ground, moving so fast he seemed to teleport. The plasma cannon discharged, but Nox had already altered the commander's aim with a devastating strike to his weapon arm. The shot went wide, igniting nothing but empty air. The commander had time for one last thought, a realization that humans didn't keep pets, they kept weapons, before Nox's jaws found his throat. 8 minutes after the attack began, it was over. 12 Zelthuran raiders lay scattered across the compound, none of them breathing. The human colonists emerged from shelter, shaken but unharmed. Mira moved through the settlement, checking on her people, coordinating damage control teams. She found Nox sitting calmly by the command center, his bioluminescence fading, his body already returning to its normal size. There was blood on his muzzle, ichor from the Zelther undead, but his eyes were clear and focused as he watched her approach. "Good boy," Mira said softly, kneeling beside him. Her hands trembled slightly as she checked him for injuries. There were none. "Very good boy." By dawn, the colonial authority ships arrived, responding to the distress beacon. They found a settlement intact, colonists alive, and a field of dead raiders. The investigating officer, a grizzled veteran named Chen, walked the perimeter with Mira, his expression growing more incredulous with each body they passed. "Captain Holt," he finally said, "I've seen Zeltheran raids before. I've never seen one repelled like this." Mira glanced down at Knox, who padded peacefully beside her, looking for all the world like nothing more than a loyal companion animal. "We humans have been breeding dogs for thousands of years, Commander Chen. We've learned a thing or two about genetic selection. When we finally had the technology to enhance them, to make them partners rather than just pets." She smiled grimly. "Well, let's just say we've been very careful about who we share that particular technology with." Chen shook his head in wonder. "The Galactic Council is going to want to know about this." "Let them know," Mira replied. "Let everyone know. Humanity doesn't venture into the dark alone. We bring our family with us. All of them." That night, as the twin moons rose once more over Kepler 442b, word began to spread through the underground networks of the outer reaches. A warning whispered in 100 languages across 1,000 worlds. The humans have pets. They call them pets. But when you threaten their family, those pets become something else entirely. The raids on human settlements stopped, not because of treaties or diplomatic pressure, but because of a simple, primal understanding that every predator in the galaxy could appreciate. Some prey isn't worth hunting. And in the darkness of the frontier, wherever humans made their homes, creatures like Nox stood watch, loyal and loving until duty called.